Signed up one morning, registered, and within an hour and a half he was out with me at Birmingham Women's. Sent to the car with the bag, put the bag in the car, and then realised that the camera was still sitting on the desk. Out to one hospital at 2 o'clock in the morning before now. Purely because it was what we needed to do to get the job done. What's the saying? Amongst my many things, I've worked for the railways, I've worked in a laboratory, and I was a policeman for 26 years. Now I sort of
Still got your pouch on your belt?
Semi-retired, yeah. I work with my brother, and the wife's the one in the middle, who comes under everything you can think of, gopher, bag, look after her.
Yeah, I'm Linda, I'm semi-retired, and I'm not going to tell you my age either, so yeah, I haven't got a studio, but I've got lights and I've done some in my own house.
She's very good. Just
hobby really for me, so I've done lots. I like children, I like to do children's stuff, and yeah, babies and portraiture is my thing, so yeah.
I'm Gail, I'm not telling you my age. I'm ex-job like him, and then I then trained as a therapist for 14 years. Hypnotherapist and all the rest of it. I had my own business for a while. Always been into photography, started when I was 18. Huge gap, went back to about 5-6 years ago, and just building up a business and about to open a studio in Stafford.
I also found you have some nursery school portraits.
Yeah, well, I do nursery.
At one time I was doing a lot actually.
Sarah, 30, 5-year-old, nearly 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. So photography as well. My eldest was an IVF baby, and then my youngest was a surprise.
Yeah.
So that's why they're so close together. I hadn't planned it that way. Always had a camera in my hand from being sort of 14, and then kind of once the children arrived, took it seriously because I wanted to be able to capture my memories and their memories, but with a more kind of less. I'm just going to do this on my phone. So did it part-time, mostly for friends with no charging while my children were very small, and since they're both at school and nursery now, it's from home, more regular, and when the youngest goes to school in September it will then be pushed
So you'd start
so that it will be
clients.
full-time rather than full part-time. So.
My job really is supposedly to look after everybody and make sure everybody gets whatever training and whatever we need where we can. But the other half of it is trying to work with hospitals to keep them on board for us. So one of which we'll have a break about 12ish to try and grab a sandwich, and then Sarah from Good Hope's coming in at 1 o'clock to do a little bit for us to see how things go from the other side of the fence. Not doing anything else. The way I do it is I normally have a bag loaded with the camera bodies and the lenses that I will normally take out to a session. Normally I normally have a couple of primes, a macro and short end zoom to do most things, because there isn't the room to use a 70 to 200 in most hospital rooms. When the free phone number gets switched off at 9 o'clock at night, we end up they'll phone us, and we have had calls at really insane hours before now. I've been out to one hospital at 2 o'clock in the morning before now, purely because it was what we needed to do to get the job done. The family concerned, as it turned out, was another photographer, but they wanted to get the goodbyes, the images and everything else done in one hit and then go home. So we went down and sorted that out for them. It's not something I expect from people as a whole. Usually if it's out of hours or it's something that's particularly awkward, where possible I will usually go. I'll try and keep the worst end of the market away from you, but sometimes it will, as happened the other night, I just couldn't go and somebody else had to pick up the slack on that one, but usually we'll sort it out.